Welcome back to another Sunday Walk video. Today is very cold and very windy. Just got done raining. It feels a lot like the crypto market right now. So let's recap what happened last week, why so many people are bearish, and why we should not give up hope for this coming week. A lot was said last week already, so I don't have to rehash everything, but obviously a couple big things happened last week. In case you missed it, number one, we had the biggest liquidation event ever in history for Bitcoin and crypto. So obviously that did drive a lot of people out. A lot of people were very fearful afterwards, right? Drove alts down a little more. Bitcoin went down 10%. And then afterwards, we had another liquidation event. And then afterwards, we had another liquidation event, smaller, but still pretty significant, like over $1 billion each time. Right on top of that, we got some bad macro data that made people fearful about, again, the economy and tariffs and all these things. Right? So this trade war with China escalated. That's a thing. And then on top of that, besides that, there was banks. There was like fears about banks, defaulting. And then on top of that, we had like commodities like gold and silver skyrocketing. So those are all the things that happened last week that made people more bearish about Bitcoin and crypto. And you have a lot of people that really turned bearish. And I really think it's all because they got liquidated. That's it. It's never good. I've been liquidated. A lot of you guys have too. It's never good to get liquidated. It doesn't feel good at all. There's no recourse from it because you lose everything, right? And some people bet big. Like for me, I've lost big before, but I've learned from those mistakes. And now if I do it, it's in small amounts. And if I lose it, okay, I'm not happy about it, but it's not going to destroy me. But unfortunately for a lot of people, that's just not the case. They go all in, or they do some huge leverage and they end up losing hundreds of thousands or millions, or it could be tens of thousands, whatever. It's a lot. And that's why I feel so many people are bearish. And you got to look like a guy like, you could just point to like a guy like James Wynn. He just keeps backflipping between going long and short, long and short, long and short. And every single time he does that, he got liquidated and lost a lot of money. So, if you're going to play with leverage, you go trade, you got to be disciplined. You got to take emotion out of it. You got to know what you're doing, right? Or if you don't want to deal with any of that, you don't want any of the emotions that come with it or the discipline that come with it, then the easiest thing is just to not trade, hold on DCA. That's it. But I really feel like all these people that turned really negative last week, it's all because they lost a lot of money due to leverage. Not so much that their portfolio went down. It's due to liquidations. It was just that simple. Because, yeah, sure, our portfolios all went down last week, but still, this is nothing compared to, again, where we were before, earlier this year, or even a few months ago. I mean, we're just basically back to a few months ago. And still nothing compared to the nasty dip that we had back in April, or even compares to the levels that we were at last year, right? So even though we had like a 10% correction, maybe a little bit more, like 15% correction, not the end of the world. No, it's not. All right, so what can change this week? Well, my theories about last week and why it happened still holds true. We're entering the third week of October. We're 1 week away from the big FOMC meeting. Hopefully they're still going to have it with the government shutdown, and they're going to cut that that rate one more time. That's a bullish thing. Another thing is Trump and President Xi from China, they're supposed to be gathering and working on their trade war situation. That's supposed to be end of the month too, but I think there's going to be more developments ahead of time because Trump really cares about the stock market, okay? Maybe some past presidents did not. He does. And he hates seeing people lose money, and he hates seeing the overall economy not doing well. So that's his primary focus, and he knows that there's a lot of scrutiny, a lot of disagreements over tariffs and what it's doing to inflation. And obviously anything that he says that causes the markets to go down, he tries to bring it back up, right? So I think this whole trade war thing with China is going to be concluded sooner than expected. And we're going to hear more about that this week. So these are two catalysts coming up. Also, usually after huge liquidation events, huge clear outs, okay, that's when we go up. And we have seen that time and time again. We have seen that many, many times in the past. And last week was a big clear out, big shakeout. We know that. And drove a lot of people out. And that's usually when we flip above. And what I said last week still holds true. If you look at what happened in 2024, 2023, it wasn't until mid to end October before we started moving. I don't think that's going to be any different this time around. I honestly think all this is done ahead of time before the next leg, the final leg of this cycle, assuming that we don't have a super cycle, assuming that we just we don't keep on going, right? But maybe there's a chance. Maybe there is a chance that we keep going. But let's just assume it's a normal cycle. It's going to end in December. And if that's the case, then this is going to be our final push upwards. This happened exactly the same way last few years. Go look. If you don't believe me, go look at what happened in 2023. How the entire year we had a downtrend until mid-October. That's when we finally broke through and headed higher. The same thing last year in 2024, okay? It happened in 2024 when we had like an 8-month downturn and finally we broke above, and it was like the final week of October, and then we had terrific November. So to me, I feel like this is it, right? Now, if we don't move for entire October, we don't move at all in November, and now we're like end of December and we're still not moving, then I would say maybe the bears are correct then, right? The bears that are predicting doom and that we already had a top and we're about to go down, maybe they are right. But we're not in mid-December. We're not at the end of the year. This is usually the most bullish time for all markets. For US market, for tech, risk-on assets, for Bitcoin, for crypto. This is the season that we're entering into. So it's not over until it's over. October is not over. A lot of people have short-term memories thinking that we have 1-2 bad weeks. That's it. That there's no chance of a recovery. That's just simply not the case. So I also believe, on top of the catalysts that are coming, that all this shaking out, all this liquidity, the driving out of liquidity is all done for a reason, okay? It's all done for a reason. And another thing too is a lot of the charts track Bitcoin versus gold. And we know gold has been skyrocketing, and it shouldn't be. It never does this. So that indicates there is a top coming. A bubble is building with gold right now. And usually, if you look at previous cycles, when that top is reached for gold, the money flows out, and a lot of it flows into Bitcoin. And I think that is also a catalyst for our cycle currently. There's a lot of money in gold. It literally like doubled within a year, basically. No, not doubled, 50%. Okay, double is exaggerated, 50%, which is unheard of again. So I think that is also going to be another catalyst. That's going to drive more money into Bitcoin and crypto. And on top of that, the ETFs. Here's an interesting fact. Before last week happened, the first week October, we had record inflow into ETFs, just Bitcoin and Ethereum. We had $6 billion of inflow just that week alone. So do you think Wall Street is putting all that money into ETFs one week, and then the second week, they're like, oh, we changed our mind, we're gonna sell everything out? No. We had a few outflow days last week, but it wasn't horrible. Overall, it was net positive for an entire week. So again, it goes to show you that the big money, the smart money, is not giving up. They're still in the game, and they are still loading up. And that's what we need to do. Okay, as a community, we need to stay strong. Stop trying to spread fear. There's always people that spread fear or always say, oh, I told you so. They are the ones that are miserable, and they want to project and bring others down to their level. I'm not going to do that. I am bullish. I feel bullish. I feel big moves are coming, and that is what I'm expressing. I may be wrong, but given a long enough time frame, I've been 100%. Even during the previous cycles where I said, hey, we're going to go higher, right? I remain bullish. And even during those crypto winters, I said, we are going to recover. Continue to hold on DCA. And those of you guys that did are up hundreds to thousands of percent, right? Because I believe and I understand, and my faith in Bitcoin has gone up tremendously over the years. In fact, they've gone up more over each and every cycle, basically, because I've learned more. Especially ever since I've learned about money and how it works, and fiat and central banks, the Fed, how all this works. The more I learn about it, the more I realize it's all Ponzi, built on a house of cards, and it's all going to collapse someday. And more people are realizing that as well. That's it. All right, so we'll see what happens this coming week. I think it could be green. Okay, on Friday, at least for U.S. markets, we started to flip above. People started realizing that we were oversold. So I think this week we could see a lot of that. We could see a lot of green because we are oversold, and people are going to realize that it's not as bad as it seems. The sentiment's way too bearish for where we are, and there are major catalysts coming in the near future. All right, outside that, that's it. Little Clash update. We had a huge tournament on Friday, even bigger than the week before. We had a lot of good players play, a lot of people come in. I am going to be making more changes. I've been making changes each and every week. I'm going to be making more changes this week, but the community remains strong. We had a couple of shakeouts. A lot of whales that did not believe in the project have left. That's quite okay, because the community that remains are the ones that believe in the project, believe what I'm building, believe that we can build this to one of the greatest projects in all of crypto, right? So we have added more holders. There's more people in Discord. There's more people talking about it. And that's the best thing for a young project that is actually going through like this dark time right now, which really shouldn't be the case, but there's like so many people that are so bearish, right? And I did an altcoin daily interview on Friday. A lot of you guys watched that video. If you didn't, go watch it. It's a good one. It's always fun to talk to Austin and Aaron. They're good guys. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And yeah, I'm planning on doing a couple more interviews. I don't know when, but there's a couple people that have reached out, so I'm going to do more of those. And I'm very active in Discord. If you guys want to just join Discord to chat, not only about Clash, but about trading, all the mistakes that people are making. If you want to learn from those mistakes, you want to learn to be better, or you just have general questions, or you just need a support group because you're bearish, join the Discord, okay? Free for all. And we have more and more people joining every single day. Just be careful. No one's going to DM you in Discord, okay? There's a lot of impersonators that try to DM you as soon as you join. There's nothing I could do. These guys are very sophisticated. That's outside the server. Just know no one will direct message you as soon as you join. Those that do are impersonators or scammers. But once you join, just check out the channels, chime in. We have a lot of mods, a lot of people in there always talking, and it's a good community. All right, guys, that's it. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.